Example 6, use a graphing utility to approximate the solutions of x plus 3 cosine of x equals 0. This would be a problem without a calculator that would be very challenging to do. I mean, there's trigonometric tables, things like that out there. But yeah, it would be pretty nasty to try and do this by hand. So our graphing utilities allow us the ability to do these problems pretty easily. So if we go to y equals and I enter the function as is, it doesn't specify radians or degrees. Always err to the side of radians at this point. So if they don't specify, that's what I'm looking for is radian answers. X plus 3 cosine of x is the equation. Equals 0 is what we got going on here. I find it easier to do an equals 0. So if it doesn't, let's say it says x equals negative 3 cosine of x, rearrange it so it says everything equals 0. Start there. And whatever equals 0, let that be y1. Then as far as graphing on a window, I'm going to do a zoom standard, which is negative 10 to 10 for x and y. So zoom 6. And ideally, there's only a few answers. All these cool curves. It's down. There we go. It looks for sure hits one here. It looks like it hits a couple more there, but I can't really tell. So at this point, I can see the answers are around -1 and looks like around 2 and 3, right? So if I zoom in a little bit, so I'm going to go from -1 to 4 on the x-axis. And all I'm looking for is where it equals 0, so it doesn't matter what the y-axis is, just so long as I can see 0. So I'm going to pick whatever negative and positive number, so -2 and 2. Maybe -3 and 3, -1 and 1. You know, just pick closer than -10 to 10, but don't go from 0 to 2 is what I'm saying. So make sure that you go below it and above it about the same. So the x-axis is in the middle. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's the same.
I should have said -2 instead of -1, shouldn't I? Well, at least this gives me the closer view there. It definitely crosses the x-axis there twice, right? So there's 2 answers there and the one over there that I don't know what I was thinking. So -2. And I'm actually going to shrink this down to -1 to 1. The smaller this gap is, the more detail is going to be on the graph that's being graphed. So there's answer 1. There's answer 2 and 3. Okay. So I can see this answer looks to be about -1.1, 1.2. This 1, 2 point, maybe 6, and this looks like almost 3. And that's what we're looking for, right? Just all the answers. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to calculate, which is right above the trace. So I hit the second button to get to it, hit that. And the thing I'm looking for is 0. I want to calculate the 0. The 0 is where the function equals 0, all right? And what it's looking for is 3 pieces of information: left bound to right bound and a guess, all right? Left bound is something below, right bound something above, guess is what your guess is. So for this, I'm going to pick left bound -2, right bound -1. So -2, enter. -1, enter. And it puts these nice little vertical lines here. So the answer you're looking for should be between the 2 vertical lines. And my guess, as long as you guess between -1 or -2, it'll find the answer you're looking for. I can try to guess close to it, so -1.1, enter. And it's -1.170121. Let's go 4 decimal places on the answers, unless they specifically ask for something. The nearest 10,000. All right, the second answer is over here, so again I'm going to do the same technique. Second calc, choose 0, which is number 2. And I'm looking at that. That looks to be about 2.6, 2.7. Since these are so close to each other, I might want to be a little bit more accurate in my guessing. So I'm going to say lower bound 2. So it doesn't so much matter here. But as far as the upper bound, I want to maybe pick 2.8. And I can see that my answer is between those. That's good. So and if I guess 2.7, it's 2.6632. And my final answer looks to be almost 3. It's after 2.6632, right? So when I do second calc 2, I'm going to go 2.7. Let's go 4, and I'm going to guess 3. Again, as long as those up and down lines are between on either side of it. So 2.938. It's like O. 938. What?
I have 9381.
Oh, do you? Is that 10? Oh, 8.
That's 1.
I was so worried about that 0, 9381. Thank you, PJ. All right. I having trouble making out that as a 0, and I had the 0 in my head. So each of those answers represents a 0. Now, this many decimal places gets me to 0, and it's actually more than that. If I went to my table and actually put these numbers in, negative 1.1701, you can see that's
Close.
0.000079. 2.6632 is negative 0.00000508. I think I said 5 zeros. And then 2.9381 is negative 0.000002. All right. So all those are very, very close to 0, which they should be because we can see by the graph they are. One other thing I want to bring to your attention is after you found this first answer, you go back to the graph, and we're having trouble maybe picking out exactly where those are. Once I know that answer, if I wanted to pinpoint these answers, if I go back to my window, they're between 2 and 3. So if I go from 2 to 3, and maybe from negative 0.5 to 0.5, you can get closer. And if I go up by 0.1 at a time, so each dash is a 0.1, I can get a better look at the graph. Still doesn't hit very far below, does it? All right, so 2.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so it's between 2.6 and 2.7. 2.8, 2.9, 3.0, between 2.9 and 3.0. So if you have difficulty picking out, where they are as far as guessing, just again, once you found that first answer, zoom in on that area and get even closer, and that'll give you a little more clarity as far as where it is and how to guess.